Do
All
y'all hear
right.
background noise here?
Hello. What was that, Tracy? We are live. So, welcome to Collaboration Conversations, folks. You know how it is when you're dealing with new tech. There's always little glitches you have to work through. And so we're doing that. But you know that we are real, we are live, we are raw. And so we are delighted to have you join us this morning on Collaboration Conversations. I'm your host, Regina Partain Bergman, CEO of Bridgeport Strategy and co-founder of the CEO Holy Grail. I am delighted to welcome my guest co-host this morning, Miss Shemekka Ebony. She is amazing. What everything I have been learning about her. She is the founder of I Am Brilliant. I can't wait to hear more about that. She's the owner of Black Girl Magic Market. She, I believe, is truly an entrepreneur, and she has been featured in New York Times Magazine as well. Welcome, Shemekka.
Thank you so much, Regina, for having me and my special friends. It's a blessing and an honor to be here. And I can't do any of those things you mentioned without collaboration. So I think it's
Isn't
significant
that
that
the
we
truth?
give that up.
Well, I am thrilled that you said yes to being our guest co-host today and delighted to have you here. Tell us, if you would please, a little bit about your journey getting to this place in life and who you serve and why that's important to you.
Being on this journey has been really unique and faith-filled for me.
Mhm.
This was a journey that God called me into, to the hedges and highways, to be the representation of what it means to serve in community by actually being in community. And out of that came some powerful and incredible relationships and partnerships, which kind of leans into who I serve today, which as I serve as a leadership coach, a strategist, intentional with how I partner with people, it is all about lifting up the opportunity to see the assets in one another and see the assets in ourselves, which is what is connected to I Am Brilliant. We all have something that's a light inside of us. And if we can figure out how to be intentional in plugging that into community, we can create the change we want to see. And that is a sustainable model that has been human tested and invested when it comes to the community that I serve and my why. It's really about the calling, greater calling to serve the nations. And how can I do that with being my authentic self along the way?
Excellent. I love that. And I love that you are making a difference in the world. I also really am pleased to hear you say that collaboration is a big part of what you do, also, because it's so important, isn't it? And it
Yes.
is how we change the world, is by working together, by doing things together in collaboration as opposed to competition. So, Shemekka, would you please introduce each of our guests and have them share a bit about their journey, who they serve, and why?
Absolutely. So I'm excited to have my good girlfriends, my partners, my community collaborators. We're all in the entrepreneur ecosystem. We all lead business support organizations within our regions and statewide, and in some cases touching nationally. And we have one of our partners that is not present. She had another previous engagement, but the four of us came together. I'll start with Lavonda. I met her at a convening of entrepreneur ecosystems and had an opportunity to hear her heart and the passion of what she was doing. And we were both had been in this organization for a couple of years, and we wanted to create that opportunity to be the change that we wanted to see. So I'll lift up Lavonda first to share your story and your why and what brought you here to partner with us today.
Well, thank you, Regina, and thank you, Shemekka. It's been an honor to serve alongside you this past year, and I'm looking forward to many more years. And I'm vice president of Array Community Development Corporation, located here in Beaufort, North Carolina, whose mission is to positively impact the economic health and well-being of coastal and rural communities in North Carolina and beyond. And so, when I thought about what I was going to share today, um, I have so many wonderful stories, in my life that led me on my journey. But what I want to particularly talk about is when the vision was birthed in me. Back in 2004, I was getting my associate's degree. I'd made an educational career change. I was no longer on the path for to go into medicine, but I decided that I wanted to go into business. And so I went to the local community college to get my associate's degree in business administration. And I had a vision for a virtual business incubator. I mean, what? And I did a plan on it. And so from there, I was like, well, what communities have incubators? And I came across Greensboro, North Carolina, which is where my family was from. My parents went to UNCG Greensboro. And I said, oh, wow, mommy and daddy went to that school. I can go there. And this is when entrepreneurship was first coming on the scene as a discipline. And I said, I can get my degree. And so I went to my professors and I told them, what I wanted to do and that I needed a job while I was, taking college classes. And I was the admin for them launching the entrepreneurship boot camp. And from there, I met the guy that was running the local incubator, and I got a job with him and helped him raise money. I mean, the path just kept unfolding. And after I graduated, I went into finance and worked in mortgage insurance, a bunch of different specialties, and ended up in tax. But along the way in the community, when people knew that I knew how to develop businesses, people would come to me. And we lived in Burlington, North Carolina at that time. And I wanted to build an incubator there. And they would come and I would help anyone. What do you need help with? So that started my consulting journey. And then we moved to Raleigh-Durham area. And that was like my first big assignment with the African American Heritage Commission. And I served on that commission for 10 years. And I'm humbled because I learned so much about so many different communities in North Carolina. We got to visit everywhere. And but some of my contributions were to uplift on Black enterprise, because they didn't really. So the commission focused on arts, history, and culture. And let me know if I'm being too long, but I just
You're
need to say that. Arts, history, and culture. And so they really didn't have anything around enterprise. And so, I helped start to bring out stories from around North Carolina, around Black enterprise. And it was amazing. And so then we moved to Beaufort, North Carolina. And this is at the coast. And I told my husband I wanted to live at the beach, but I didn't know it would happen so soon. But it was time for us to start Array. You know how when you have a vision and it's just in the atmosphere and it's heavy on you. And so we started Array. And he knew that I wanted to fund businesses. We did a lot of technical assistance. We did a lot of development. But that's where we came across CDFIs, Community Development Financial Institutions. And so we formed our board, formed Array in 2017, and just started grassroots getting out in the community, talking to different organizations, helping them connect to resources. And so this is why we do what we do. I mean, I was the little girl in the rural community that had entrepreneurial ideas and didn't have a path to go on to, and so we wanted to create that. We believe that people in the community have the answers for the community, and we just want to help them, support people that are already doing, and so from there, we onboarded, another long story, but the North Carolina Shellfish Farmer Loan Fund and technical assistance. And we've been deploying loans since 2023, and also technical assistance. We've worked with around 24 organizations, from banks to community partnerships, government agencies, and we're adding to that repertoire. We're blessed, to be out here doing the work that we do. And I'm just so thankful. But I want to point out that when our collaboration came together, Tracey did resilience profiles for us, and I was very isolated. And this is why collaboration is important. And I was going through a lot of life challenges, and I was weighted down with so many things. And these ladies came around me, and I'm gonna tell you, it's just been amazing. It was a matter of life or death for me, but And I won't get into that. I had a major illness in January,
Mm.
and they were right there with me, and they're nursing me back to health. And so collaboration is so important. And I'll just stop right there. Thank you for having
That's awesome.
me.
I love that. Wow. Thank you so much, Lavonda, for just bringing us all into the full essence, because collaboration means honoring people's journey and having that opportunity to understand the components of what makes them who they are. Which brings me to the opportunity to introduce Tracey, who is a great powerhouse with Genesis Block Foundation, and we were able to bring her on board as a collaborator. I'm a super fan because these women also have their husbands who also work alongside in the community around entrepreneurship development. So it's been really nice to share that experience as well with this collaboration that we have had the opportunity to build. And so I'll yield to Tracey to share what brings you to the space and a bit of your why on who you serve.
Okay, good morning, Regina. It's so great to meet you. Good morning, Shemekka and Lavonda. I am excited to be here. I'm excited to share. When Shemekka sent it over and I saw the title, I was like, oh my gosh. The collaboration immediately jumped out. Our core values at Genesis Block are community, collaboration, and creativity. So this is perfect for us. We believe in all three. And I am the co-founder of Genesis Block and the executive director and co-founder of Genesis Block Foundation. And I am also a certified personal resilience practitioner for my boutique consultancy called Unexo. And so how did I get here? I guess I spent almost 30 years in corporate America in human resources. And my last 12 plus years was with Verizon Wireless. I started their call center here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And in the process of doing that, I moved several times. I became a field operations person for them. I took over a call center in Huntsville, Alabama. I did the regional work to transform 23 different recruitment organizations into 6. And I had the Northeast region. And then, and along with that, when I started doing that regional type work, I was given a change coach. And so it was all about resilience, how resilient you are, because I was with Verizon from them being just a mobile phone. I remember the first text message coming out, and then transitioning into a technology company. And change every 18 months, I felt like I had a different job. And so I stayed with Verizon until I moved to New Jersey with them. And then I took a package and retired, and was going to go back into corporate America. Moving back to Wilmington, I had my husband then was ill, and so I was moving back to see that he got better medical care. And so in the process of doing that, I was looking for jobs, and then I started working with my church just on building healthier teams and collaboration, and then just realized that to the openness and the transparency and the accountability that people needed to develop strong teams just was not there, and it was a lot of resistance. And so on the other side of resistance is that resilience. And so I went back and got my certification that gave me the same knowledge that was poured into me when I was in Verizon. I went and got certified in it, and I started my Unexo, which was a boutique consultancy. Then I met my husband, my now husband, at a co-working space of all things. And he had just moved here from the Bay Area, California, where he started a technology company. And I was just getting into entrepreneurship. It was so new to me. I always felt like I would be in corporate America my entire life. I was not leaving. And so when I started with building my business, I just realized that it was very choppy. There was nowhere to go. And somebody said, if you start here, it'll take you to here. It was like you went to this person. If their specialty was in marketing, they poured everything into marketing and made you feel like you had to have a marketing company. If another person's specialty was in finance, they poured everything into finance. But nobody said, okay, if you need to validate your business idea, now let's go and work that out, and then now let's validate a business model and work that out. And so when I met my husband, he had been through several accelerators and incubators out west. And so he said he wanted to bring that same level of training and consistency in training here into Wilmington, where we are living now. He's from Burgaw, I'm from Pender County, which are the opposite sides of New Hanover County, where we live. And so we just wanted to bring that back here. And what I wanted to create something for people who are just leaving corporate America and never even thought about being an entrepreneur, never ran a business, never did anything like that they could have a consistent pathway. And so we started Genesis Block at our apartment complex. Had we thought just a few companies would show up, few founders. We had 30 founders show up at our first one, and it just kept going and getting larger and larger and larger. So we have 3 areas. We focus on building the neighborhood economy, helping small, local, and investor-owned businesses get from ideation to commercialization. And we have 3 components. We have quality training, and that's our Block Academy. We have an 8-week cohort for early stage entrepreneurs and an 8-week cohort for those that want to scale their business. And then we look at low-cost production spaces. We did the first pilot in the Southeast area with Cape Fear Community College. We stood up a shared use kitchen on their campus to pilot commissary space, and also having them being able to provide food service. And we also do brand visibility and commercialization, and that's where we run we call it a Conversations to Contracts. It's a trade show style event where we're very deliberate about bringing anchor institutions, small businesses, finance partners, our banking partners, and our entrepreneur support organizations, and those that help with certifications, putting them in the same room on a consistent basis and letting them know the sole purpose of being here is to help contracts evolve. And now we've got the banking people there when you need capacity. We have the entrepreneur support people when you need to learn more technical skills. We've got the certification people to help you get more procurement ready. And so we host those now in Jacksonville and in Wilmington. And so those are the three brands that we support through Genesis Block Foundation. And after being in it for 5 years and working with businesses constantly, I just realized that the resilience work that I was doing at Verizon was so needed now with the small businesses as well. And so this collaboration actually gave me the opportunity to reach back into that skill set and bring it to this collaboration and to the women in Eastern North Carolina. And so the overall collaboration has been great, because I think the sum total of what we do on our own is good. But when we have by us putting all of our skills together and all of our programs together and supporting each other's programs, I have had people show up at events that I have put on that I would have never been able to touch. I had an event in Jacksonville, and I had people from Rocky Mount, I had people from Burgaw, I had people from Pamlico County that showed up, and it was only because of this collaboration. They would not have known about it if it was not for this collaboration. So I am a huge supporter and fan. And also, I must say, I love that it is 4 Black women that are striving to help and support and doing it with excellence. I really am appreciative of that.
I love it. You ladies are all doing such amazing work and making a difference in the lives of people. So let's talk about, I think a good place to start here would be, you have all really dove into building up your communities, building up this entrepreneurship and opportunities for people. What would you say to someone from Idaho who says, I'm hearing this and I want to start this. I want to do something like this. What do? I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. What would you counsel them if somebody, anywhere in the States or somewhere else who wanted to duplicate what you're doing? How would they go about it? And feel free to just jump in, ladies, and share your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll just say really quickly, it's important to look at the assets you have around you. Um, as your first step, and then also working on your own personal development, because one of the things that we were intentional in building our collaboration was ministering to ourselves and each other with intention first before we hit the ground running, going out to do something or fix something, because we have been intentional in making sure that we prioritize our health and well-being as we're doing the work.
I like that. That's important, isn't it?
And I also think it's important to find that common ground that's very important to each of you, so that no one in the collaboration feels like they're having to work outside of their realm of expertise. And I think that happened to us on our first call. We got on the call. Shemekka she's great at pulling you together. And so she just kind of nudged us, kept nudging. Hey, I met y'all at the last ecosystem summit. It's about time for the new ecosystem grant to come out. I want to see if we can pull something together. And so she just got us on a call and just had us talk. She opens every call with a well-being moment. What do you call it?
Yes, a human being.
Shemekka, I forgot what you call it.
Yes, human being check-in.
I like that.
She opens every call with a human being check-in. And by the time we finished the human being check-in, we were pretty certain about the direction we needed to go in for our collaboration. But we were women and life was lifing. And so we kind of said, if life is lifing on us like this, then life is lifing on other entrepreneur women out there. And we can bring together what we have and augment what other people are doing in their communities, or even bring, if there's nothing in the community, and help the women that we know, because we're experiencing it ourselves as we're trying to develop and grow and build our businesses. And so it's really important that you connect with a group that you feel like at the core you are aligned, because I don't know if you can do it if because if one person starts feeling that you get into it and then you get one person that's now trying to pull it off to their own things, that won't work. And we've never had that. We've just always supported whatever was put on the table, and we gave our best at it, and that's really important. But I think that core in the beginning is what solidified it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds, I totally am in agreement with that alignment, whether we're talking collaborations or company and clients or partners, that you have to be in alignment on your values, on your purpose, all of that is so critically important. Lavonda, your thoughts?
Yes, I would speak to, that I would let them know that there is help. I mean, we've been blessed with connections everywhere because we love to build relationships. That's at the heart of business, is building relationships, because you never know who I think there's the where if you know two people, it brings you closer to someone else, and that there is help for them. Most states have ecosystems and business development organizations, and there is help for them. There's a lot of resources out there to help them. I mean, we worked with the EDA for a little bit, and there was just so many resources. You go to your educational institutions, there's a lot of resources. You talk to your bankers, oh my goodness, they've got a lot of resources. So there is help for you, because sometimes when you have an idea, it's scary, and people aren't always, there's those dream killers. You've got to find the people that will support you and
Right.
help you have a safe environment that you can grow your business in and your idea in. But there is help. That's what I would say.
Excellent. Can you share some of the success stories that you've seen with some of the entrepreneurs that have come through your programs that you've helped along the way? Would you share a little bit about that, some of those success stories?
Oh man, I've got a lot of success stories. And it's a blessing to see it. I know recently we helped a farmer, and we do work with oyster farmers. So, Regina, you like oysters? I don't know. Some people like them, some people
I've
don't.
only eaten them once in my life,
Okay.
a
Yeah. So
long time ago.
here in coastal North Carolina, the heritage out here is commercial fishing and oyster farming, shellfish farming, and we help those farmers. But one of the farmers, he was already shipping nationally. I had never heard of someone shipping oysters nationally, and he had a few employees, and he was a commercial fisherman, and then he went over into oyster farming, and but he was building a business, and we helped him with our administrative back office support system, create more jobs. And we did his financials, and he accessed the fund. And we also sent him to a food show with corporate, Harris Teeter, Food Lion, those types of entities. And he got interest from them. And I mean, we spent a year working with him. And another story, we've done a lot of work around credit literacy, because a lot of entrepreneurs use their personal credit. I mean, you're funding your business.
Exactly.
And we know that those credit mechanisms have really high interest. And so we're helping them get low interest loans for working capital to free up their personal credit. So I mean, I could go on and on and on, but those are just a couple.
Tracey,
I
Shemekka?
love it. Tracey, do you want to let the story?
Yeah, for us, and I will speak to specifically inside of the collaboration that in the women. So we had, and I feel like this is successful when you have women that touch one part of the program. We had a Mom in My Business in Rocky Mount, and we had women that were there. And then I did a speed kind of mental coaching on resilience while we were there. And then to have 3 of the women that were a part of that show up in Jacksonville to be a part of the resilience workshop that I put on for boost your business capacity by raising your personal resilience. And they showed up there. And the feedback is that we received from both of the workshops, that the women were able to take things back and immediately deploy into their businesses. And the number of women that after the overall debrief on their resilience profile have scheduled with me to do an individual debrief so that they can really understand how their ability to engage their energy and solve problems will impact their ability to be more successful in their business. And so I look at, had we not had the other program, these women wouldn't have been in this program. And now they've got 2 more additional programs that they can continue to grow their skill sets in areas that they may not have that directly impact how they do business. And so that, I guess that's a very general way to look at it, but I do think that having multiple things and multiple touch points where people in these rural communities aren't able to get access, that is what I see is real success.
Excellent.
I love that. To stay in the same vein with intention of what these brilliant women have shared, I think it's awesome to highlight. I look at their successes as successes for me as a convener of powerhouses. And when I think about Lavonda, when we learned where her opportunities for growth were in her resilience profile, we were able to wrap around with intention, knowing that we can cover her while she's growing and make those connections to the people in the same manner as we are all able to exercise our expertise. We feature each other as subject matter experts. We feature each other as partners with intention in our how we're organizing, whether it's an event. If I'm coming to Tracey's event, then I'm going to speak while I'm there. If Tracey's coming to an event I'm having, she's going to speak while she's there. So we have those intentional strategies that I've just seen blossom from our intention, and I count them very successful when we can show people what collaboration looks like in a time when we are praised for competition and beating out others. We've shown a way, a pathway that collaboration kind of yields more positive and sustainable outcomes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so true. So there are a lot of folks, we talked a little bit in the beginning about how you would go about maybe creating an organization like you have done. There are resources out there in some areas. What are some of those resources for somebody who's sitting out here listening to this and like, I don't have a clue where to begin. I have no idea. Can we just kind of lay out some of the things that they can look for in their communities or nearby communities that may already be in place that they can become a part of?
I believe it was Lavonda that lifted up a little bit earlier about these agencies that are embedded in our organizations that receive federal funds to provide the education and access to and support. Being in a business support organization for 5 years in practice, I've understood that in some cases, the work that I do with Black on Magic Market has had to step in and become the Better Business Bureau of those business support organizations, so that we weren't sending people into harmful environments of people not doing their job and not following through with what they were supposed to do. So I would say proceed with caution in reaching out, but know that there could be business support organizations like ours that are maybe not necessarily connected to networks that you may be aware of, but look for those that are hosting events maybe at the library or in public spaces to see how you can bring your gifts to partner and align with each other's gifts, or finding ways to grow your understanding of what's available locally. And then, if watching videos and learning is your thing and you have time for self-paced learning, then on YouTube, my Shemekka Ebony YouTube channel has a digital resource guide of how-to business support and leadership development videos from things that we've created with past cohorts with the Business Accountability and Growth Group, or initiatives with intentional convening and collectives like our partners here. So there's available tools and resources that are self-paced learning that can help support if you maybe find yourself in what I would say in rural North Carolina, where business support organizations may not be physically accessible. We were intentional in removing barriers to make digital content to kind of meet people where they are in a language they can understand.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And also in North Carolina, if you're lucky enough to be in North Carolina, every community college has a small business center. And those are free resources that you can go in. Because for us, we don't do a lot of that idea. If you just have an idea, like I just thought about this. We say, okay, go over and work with Jerry or go work with April if you're in Brunswick County. At the community college, they're there to help you get that idea vetted out enough to get it actionable. Then once you get some customers, some cash, and some and demonstrated capacity, then you come into our Jumpstart Academy. So we have a flow with them where they bring them into, get them up and ready to come into our program. So those small business centers are great. And for creatives, I watch creatives that figure it out, that actually figure out that, wait a minute, I can be the best at creating this, directing this film, but if I don't get a business part, some business behind me, I'm just going to be directing films that don't sell. I'm going to be making paintings that hang on the wall. And so sometimes in that space, when you can find a creative that have figured out how to talk to other creatives about the business side, we've watched that. Honeyhead Films came through. Well, our first cohort, when it was the Back on the Block Accelerator, they came through and they said in 90 days of being in the cohort, they raised their revenues by 500%. And so that was in 2020. And now they are on Netflix. They have won all kinds of awards for their introductory film song of imaging. And so now they're teaching more of the business side, because they tell people, had they not gone through the accelerator and learned the business side of film and being creative, they would not be where they are. And so a lot of times finding people in your industry that's figured it out and now pouring back into the community, those are some great ones to talk to, because they're going to tell you from lived experience and they're going to speak your language.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, that's
And
excellent.
just to, piggyback off of Shemekka and
Yes.
Tracey, I know here in North Carolina, our Secretary of State, they put together a full website where you can go in and search by county, and it pulls up every business resource. I wouldn't say every, but most business resources in that county by county. And, Shemekka also, Tracey talked about the community college. There's free resources. Also the universities. If you want to take a little bit more time and take like a full business class, but they put out free seminars, and they have conferences that they host as well, and so just get your feet wet, and then it'll start, growing. You'll find more and more things, but those are a couple, ways to get out there and learn more things about business.
Excellent. So I have a question for you that's a veering off a little bit here. Because I know that you said in the beginning that you're working primarily in this geographic area, but also can help people outside of the area, if I heard you correctly. I work with a nonprofit in Uganda. And one of the things that we struggle with is finding funding for what he's doing. And he's doing an amazing job. He's a well-educated young man who is really working with the people in the community to help educate them about money, about getting, how to get them out of the poverty that they're in, how to keep girls in school, because girls, have a real struggle for a variety of reasons remaining in school. And, just a lot of things, no good water, and so he's teaching them agricultural things. He's teaching them how to sew. He's teaching them about savings and, creating their own savings and loan, so that they, are learning more about money. What suggestions, if any, do you have for someone like that in another country, particularly, maybe in a truly impoverished area, how they can find the resources that will help them, who they can collaborate with, or resources to help grow this program that's so critically important to the community? Any thoughts on that? I'm always open to thoughts.
In this, my organization, I Am Brilliant, we are standing in partnership and collaboration with Monica Kabia out of Bo, Sierra Leone, which is in West Africa. And we've been working with her since we went to Sierra Leone. We were in Freetown in 2022 with my family. And we did a workshop over there during their holiday break. And our collaboration consists of supporting her leading a month-long vacation school. It's literally happening right now. Well, with the hour difference is wrapping, but from 8 to 4 every day in August, young girls that are in partnership with the Community of Girls Advocacy Network. They're learning entrepreneurship, they're learning leadership development, they're learning to create products to sell. So business structure and that capacity also as a way to generate income for their families. And so that collaboration here with the US, we have some people that convene, they contribute funds monthly, and then we send over in stipend form to Monica to cover her expenses. Because of course, the value of the dollar is a little bit different when you can have an international partner. So if there's someone like your organization, Regina, to your point, that can just take up $5 from the people you know, and transferring that on a consistent basis does put you in the position to really invest in getting them what they need, not also putting them in danger with sending them too much money at one time, so that they're not locally targeted, but it becomes a consistent way to pour into other communities that may be looking for international collaboration opportunities that could be literally as simplified as that, and helping support their sustainability by teaching them whatever's missing, with the cultural awareness that having an NGO here in the United States is much different than having an NGO.
Yes. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that, ladies?
I am going to put in a shameless plug here.
I'll take it.
My husband has an extreme interest in circular wealth and building the neighborhood economy. And he's written a book, it's just published, called Newkirknomics by Gerard Newkirk. And it is the blueprint on building your neighborhood economy. And he talks about the global South and the diaspora and how ways and techniques that they can rebuild their own economies. He has Crypto Road, which is a digital highway for communities to keep their wealth in their communities, but also how to build those local economies. It probably take me way more detail than I can speak to in this hour, but I would recommend purchasing and reading the book. You can get it on Amazon, because there are some good tips, and it's written in a way that the average person can understand. I'm not an economist, and I barely passed economy when I was working on my secondary degree. And so it's one of those books that it is plain language enough that the typical person can pick it up and look at whatever the chapter is for what they're trying to accomplish in their community and get some good pointers and tips.
Excellent. What's the name of the book again?
Newkirknomics. I will put it in the chat.
Please do. If you'll put it in the everyone chat there, that would be great.
Okay, and I'll put the author.
And I wanted to share, I believe our U.S. Black Chambers and also the National Black Chambers, they work globally. So they've got a lot of resources. Okay. And also one of the greatest resources out here is the sister cities. The sister cities are amazing, the work that they've done with certain U.S. cities that then partner with international countries. Like with Beaufort, there are like 7 different Beauforts in the world, and they've all come together as sister cities. Yeah. And even in Portland, I believe Portland, Oregon had a sister city with Sephora, Japan, or in Japan. So that network is amazing with helping to build those ties internationally. But yes, like your U.S. Black Chamber and National Black Chambers both have.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had not thought about that, about the chamber part. We'd looked for grant monies for him and different things, but just donations is kind of where we're at the moment. So
there are some have you connected with a university that has an emphasis, because when we first got started before COVID and everything, I think it got wiped out because of COVID. We went in with a grant for, I think it was Pakistan or Palestine. I cannot remember which one, with UNCW to provide entrepreneur skills training for women. And because it's so hard, so difficult for them to get the funding to go to school and to build an entrepreneur venture. That's even more. So I'm wondering if you connected to universities who are applying for grants that may be able to use the resources to help in that particular vein.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I'll look into that. Shemekka, you had something to add as well?
I'll send it to you maybe on another email, but those that I come across that are open to global application, I always send to Monica. So I'll send those to you. It may be out of the range of submission, but you have them on your radar as something that you can share with your partner.
I appreciate that, ladies. Thank you very much. And I know the young man who runs this will be very appreciative as well. Well, ladies, we are out of time for this part of the show. We're going to move into our wrap-up round now. And Shemekka, if you will, please call on each person to share their final thoughts on collaboration as well as their contact information. And while you're doing that, I'll put their contact information out in the public comments. So.
Awesome. Yes, we will kick it off with Lavonda. Thank you for your agreement and partnership to share your journey and your truths and such powerful resources. So I would yield some time to you to please share your final thoughts on collaboration today.
Well, I just want to say that you have to have collaboration in your life to grow in this global business environment. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
And it takes some time to find the right people and networks that you're comfortable with, but don't give up. Find those people that are your people, and because I just look at my life, I've been in entrepreneurship for a while. I won't say how many years, but every aspect I was collaborating and networking, and it's made all the difference in my success and helped me through failures as well. And so my contact is lavonda@arraycdc.org. Phone number here at the office is 252-838-1266. And we're on social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. So thank you, Regina, and thank you, Shemekka and Tracey.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lavonda. And thank you so much as we turn it over to Tracey to share your final thoughts on collaboration.
Thank you. First, thank you, Regina, for sharing the space with us today. I have definitely enjoyed it. And I just my final comment is, the same way we tell our businesses right now, shared services for entrepreneurs, if food halls, micro spaces, pop-up shops, all those things are so important because the cost of doing business is getting more and more expensive. So those collaborations and shared services are going to be so important going forward. And I feel the same way about the work that we're doing as an entrepreneur support organizations, coming together and collaborating to provide greater services to especially the most vulnerable in our communities. And so I am so appreciative of this work, and prayerfully we'll get to continue this work. And my contact information is Tracey. I am a Tracey with the E, CEY at genesisblockfoundation.org. And my number is 910-523-7038. And I put my LinkedIn profile up there because that's probably the easiest place to find me. I also have Facebook and Instagram, but LinkedIn is where most people reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tracey. And Regina, what an honor and a pleasure to get an opportunity to meet you. When I think about collaboration, I believe very strongly from theory to practice. And with intentionality, we can create that change we want to see. And if we put our energy towards that, I believe that's what informs how collaboration, what it's supposed to look like and what's possible can manifest if, it begins with the work on ourselves. And so that's kind of what informs and leads my work as a leadership coach. And if you want to connect with me, please feel free. You can learn about what I do with my leadership framework and how my organization can partner with yours at ShemekkaEbony.com, as well as any social media platform, whether it is TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. You can find me at Shemekka Ebony. And please, if you want to email, have more information. I'm also putting in our collaboration. If you want to learn more about what we've been able to do as a women's business support collective in Eastern North Carolina, the link to that, as well as our upcoming events, because we have opportunities for people that may feel like loners or maybe solopreneurs. We have events that we're doing here in North Carolina that we welcome you wherever you are. So if you're in Idaho or Montana or somewhere in North Carolina, please come check us out. We have our Content and Confidence Media Day and Awards, where our collective also funds other businesses and invest in them by awarding them money, as well as giving them the tools they need to be the better versions of themselves as a business owner and entrepreneur.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here today. Thank you, Shemekka, for being our guest co-host and bringing this amazing group together. You are all making such a difference in the world. It's a pleasure to meet each of you and to learn a little bit about what you're doing. I'm excited for the work that you're doing and the difference that you're making. So thank you so very much for doing that and for being on the show. And with that, we'll say goodbye to our audience. We thank you for listening again, for joining in with us. Come back and see us again. You can find us on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. And we'll be back very shortly. So thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.